All right, Jason, thank you so much for joining us on the Parks Academy for this interview. We are so excited to be doing these Disney artist spotlights, and you were actually one of the very first people that we thought of when we were going going through the process of trying to figure out, like, if this was something we wanted to pursue or not. And as we were, as we first got started out talking about, the Festival of the Arts, and we're promoting it and talking about it on our show, I mentioned just a small handful of artists whose work I really liked, and you were right up there with the people that I wanted to mention. So it felt like a no-brainer to me to invite you on and have you talk a little bit about your involvement with the Festival of the Arts, and being a Disney artist and Wonderground and all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this with
Oh
us.
yeah, for sure. No, thank you guys for asking me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we really want to like promote artists. It's really important to us. So we're happy to really happy to have you. I'm just
Awesome.
basically going to ask you a handful of questions about your history
Sure.
in art and stuff like that, and then there's going to be some kind of fun stuff too in there as well. But the first question I just want to ask you just straight out was how did you get into Disney art in the first place?
Um, well, I mean, growing up, we went to Disney, a few times as kids, and I loved the movies, loved the characters, music, and obviously as a kid, I was into art, and just was gravitated towards drawing pretty much almost only Disney characters,
Hmm.
tracing out of all the books and things that I had, and it just kind of became my like one main topic that I would end up using for any artwork that I was doing. And so from there, it was just kind of like this thing that grew into more of a passion slash obsession.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was just, something I was already always drawing and doing art as a kid. And so it just became molded into Disney art all the time.
So
So
did you find like the transition between doing it as a hobby and then doing it professionally sort of seamless, or did you just like find yourself in it suddenly, or how did all that come about?
um it was not seamless.
Yeah.
uh, you know, I went to school for art, after the years that I was realizing that art was definitely something I wanted to pursue. In high school, I took like a Photoshop class. That was my first time getting into like graphic design. And that was where I knew graphic art was what I wanted to do. And obviously, Disney was already a big part of my life. I did the college program for Disney. And after graduation, I did a professional internship at Disney doing graphic art and stuff. But afterwards, your internship ends, there isn't always an opportunity. So I didn't actually get a full time design job with Disney till almost 5 years after my internship ended. And of course, I'd been trying, I'd stayed in Florida, I moved from New York. And, it definitely took a while. I knew I needed to, like, in that time frame, focus on doing some, passion projects with Disney, but also building my
Right.
portfolio with, a lot of the other jobs that I was
Hmm.
bouncing around from, and until I got to Disney finally.
Yeah, so that's like your
So,
that's like your full-time thing. You like work for Disney as an artist.
well, I did currently full time. I'm now with Loungefly, and
Okay.
so I do a lot of Disney art still through Loungefly. But for up until so it's been almost 2 years that I'm with Loungefly, but I was with Disney after that after I'd gotten that job at Disney. I was with them for about 10 years, doing graphic art.
Got it.
So
That's really
yeah,
cool. Um, so one of the things that really kind of draws me to your art specifically is how I feel like there's so much detail in your work. So
yeah,
there's like this trend right now that I really like, and some of the people that we've interviewed and had on the show do this, and of course, like I love the work, but one of the things that really stands out to me about your work is how it's very detailed and there's a lot going on. It's almost like the opposite of minimalism,
yeah.
which
I
I
know.
think is fantastic.
Sure.
I mean, I almost want to ask like what inspired the style, but it does feel very classic Disney, like something you would have seen almost in like the 90s or the 2000s or whatever, just from that style of art. But was there anything that kind of sort of inspired you or drew you to the very highly detailed, very like dynamic kinds of art that you're doing?
Um, I think thinking back even to like artwork I was doing in school, everything I think was always sometimes too detailed or overcomplicated, or I had trouble like pulling back. And so I just think when it comes to the Disney stuff, and when I finally was able to have like an opportunity to do like the artwork for the festival and stuff, I pick up my favorite IP that I wanted to work on or
Mhm.
character. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, this is it. I need to like get everything that I've ever loved about this one thing into this piece and just
Yeah.
see how I can make it all fit together. Um, and sometimes it works against me, and I kind of have to like pull back and simplify a little bit. But for the most part, it's just like me just loving everything about all these characters and movies that I'm working on. And it's, a challenge to kind of like represent a lot of different stuff from a film or from a character and still have it be, visually pleasing and not too chaotic.
Right.
So, so yeah, but it's always changing, and I'm always trying to like, change it up a bit as well.
That's really cool. So this
Yeah.
episode probably is going to be released like mid-February. Like I'm thinking like the 13th, I think is when it's gonna go
Oh,
out. And
okay.
so tell me about like you're at the Festival of the Arts right now. I know we've been kind of going back
Yes.
and forth on trying to get a date down to talk to you because you've been so
I know.
busy,
Yeah.
which is great. I mean, seriously,
Sorry about
congratulations on
that.
all of that. No, gosh,
Thank
no, it's
you.
you
Thanks.
you got to do what you got to do. I get it. Uh, but so how long have you been at the Festival of the Arts? And just we're gonna ask you to promote some stuff later, but like
Oh, sure.
how what are you there right now, and how long have you been doing it in the past?
So this year will be the 6th year that I'm doing the festival. Um, and each year it still feels just as surreal as the first year.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just so happy to be out there and to have the opportunity to kind of, put out there what I know and love about Disney, and then, also hear what everyone else loves about Disney when I get to talk to people and meet guests out there, and, get ideas from them as well. So, yeah, this is year 6, and I'll be there. I'm there now every weekend of February till the end. So
Okay,
I
fantastic.
believe it ends February 20th. So still, a good amount of time to put in.
Great, yeah, because I want to make sure that like people can find you out there too. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, because that's important, right? Because I mean, it's they can obviously find you online and stuff, but the other
right.
goal is for people who are near the parks or going that are listening that they can actually look you up and find your stuff and then kind of seek it out. Do you
Yeah.
find having gone for so many years, do you find that like you almost have some kind of like a cult following of people who are really into your art and look forward to seeing what you have every year, or does it feel like it's a
Um,
lot of new fresh faces when you're meeting people and doing your thing?
uh, I, th- I mean, I think it's a mix of both. And for those who have followed me for 6+ years or whatnot, or have just started or started in between, it's really great to see their faces year after year, to
Hmm.
hear what they're excited about. But yeah, it certainly feels like it's been the busiest year. I think for a lot of artists, I think it's felt that way, and the festivals become more popular, more well known. And it's humbling and exciting all at the same time. So definitely you get year after year new people, and or just people who have never heard of you, or
Hmm.
they just want to check out artwork in general, and you strike up conversations with the guests, and kind of make you know new new friends in a way.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's
it's
cool.
every each year it just gets more exciting, I feel like.
That's really cool. Um, so then are you like also showing? I know you can't like you're obviously not making Loungefly bags, but for the designs that you're doing, are you? I mean, first of all, are you showcasing any of that work at the festival? I'm sure there's like a lot of proprietary stuff that
uh,
goes with Loungefly and stuff. But
right.
also like I do have some questions about Loungefly too because it's cool. I mean, they're
Okay, sure.
a huge company, and I feel like
Yeah.
they're almost have become such an like integral part of Disney as a location. I mean, to me, like Loungefly bags feel almost as important to people as ears now.
Yeah, it
So how has
is.
that been? I
It's
mean,
a
being able to just sort of, because I feel like with Loungefly and pop and all these like very pop culture centric items that have been around for a long time now, but just continue to gain steam. It feels like the possibilities are completely endless of what people can do, and almost like the freedom of properties is wild to me with how much reach you can have in those things.
Yeah, I mean, so being out of the festival, I'm purely with um, Disney, the Disney Gallery Artist Program. So um, for me, I'm out there, showcasing the new artwork that I have, coming to Disney, and then full time, is Loungefly. So honestly, it's you know, almost anyone that I see that's wearing a backpack, it's a Loungefly. So it will be fun. I'll
Right.
see people wearing ones that I've worked on, or they'll bring them up, and because I do post once they release, I can go ahead and share, and I'll
Hmm.
say, oh, I got to work on this one. But yeah, it's been this year has been different because it's really, you know, I've been at Loungefly almost 2 years now, so I've had more out there, and I think
Yeah.
there's more awareness that I now do that full time. So it's another fun element that I do get to discuss with guests, and
Hmm.
that a lot of guests who follow me are familiar with now. So it's been um, it's been really cool.
Yeah, that's got to be a really great feeling because for me anyway, especially, I look at stuff like Loungeflies and um, you know, just pop culture items that go out and you never really consider the person behind the design. I mean, because it's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
branded under like one company for me anyway, like I don't genuinely think about, I wonder who, actually designed this and came up with it and
right.
kind of worked within the parameters of the design and the shape and everything like that. So
Yeah,
one of the things that I really like about this artist series specifically is having the opportunity to basically put like faces to the product is how I would call it, So
yep,
because a lot of people they know the product, but they probably don't know like who actually was did all the work behind it and stuff like that. So that's
right.
really cool. And
Oh yeah,
as I was really digging deep into your Instagram page and just kind of scrolling through, it was funny because I started noticing certain bags that I have seen or was just fond of, or that I almost bought for page. Like for instance, the
cool.
droids and Ewoks bag that you did.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember when I
yeah.
first saw that, because I was a big fan of those shows growing up. And when I first saw
Yes,
that, I
yep.
was like, oh my gosh, I need to buy that for Paige because she doesn't love Star Wars like I do, but that is just the best. And it's so funny.
It's got glow in the
Um,
dark and all that.
yeah, it's super
Yeah,
good.
it's cool.
So yeah, I mean, all your bags are awesome. And I love how they're just so like, I mean, they're just stay so true to the films and to the TV shows or styles or whatever. And it's just really, really
Oh, thank you.
good detailed work like everything else. Do you have a specific Loungefly product that you are like specifically very proud of or really happy with the way it turned out, or maybe one that you didn't expect to take off the way it did?
Um, it's funny. One of the ones that I might be most proud of is actually not a Disney Disney
That's fair.
property.
Yeah, that's totally
But
fair.
my first project when I started Launchfly was developing custom character art for Beetlejuice, for a
Cool.
Beetlejuice
Nice.
bag, and
Nice.
that bag. So I did that like as my first project, almost
Hmm.
2 years ago, and it finally just released
Okay.
this past like October.
Yeah, I think I saw that
And it
on. Be
was,
careful because you've already said it twice, so just tread lightly with what you're with calling the property out. Um,
oh yeah, that was okay.
no, I
But
just
yeah,
don't want him
they
to appear.
I don't want them to come. No, we don't need that. But yeah, I mean that was a real challenge because it's I've been doing Disney for all this time and then getting thrown into, and actually, fortunately, I really like the movie Beetlejuice,
Hmm.
so I'm, connected a bit to, actually enjoying really developing some character art for it. But, there was a lot of different elements to that full body characters and stuff, and so it was, um, it was a challenge, and I'm just real proud of that one.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. And then the thing too is like having
Thanks.
to translate real life characters into 2D art.
Yeah, it's difficult.
I mean, I think you
Yes,
you
for
nailed
sure.
it with the way he looks and
Thank
different
you.
kind of variations and stuff is really really cool. So that's awesome. I mean, we do like we focus on Disney. I mean, that's like all in our title, but we're pretty
Yeah.
much whatever. It's mostly about theme parks and stuff like that. But
Right.
Disney's kind of the main focus. So, whatever. But anything works for us.
Yeah.
Um, do you have anything as an artist, like as a professional artist? Do you have anything that you look back on over your seasoned career and say like, wow, um, I'm really specifically proud of like this one thing, or is there anything that stands out to you as like an achievement that kind of like towers over the rest?
Um, for sure, when I got the call that I was being asked to join the Wonderground Gallery as with that the group of artists that were, at Wonderground. And then, at that same time it was I was starting that, and then the artwork would first debut at the Festival of the Arts. So the festival, joining Wonderground and getting to do Festival of the Arts simultaneously was just, like a huge moment, I think, for me. Um, and being able to really, for the first time, have my artwork out there for sale and stuff. So, which was, a huge goal of mine. So, certainly that stands out as kind of like, my proudest moment in my career.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I've heard a lot
Thanks.
from different artists about how much Wonderground has really been like an integral part of their success and growth as an artist. So
Yeah, for sure.
that's really really cool.
And,
Is your
oh, go ahead.
No, no, please.
I
You're
was
my
gonna say,
guest.
and it's like becoming part of another family because
Hmm.
you know the group of artists that exists within Wonderground and Disney Fine Art. I mean, everybody is so so nice and talented, and for me, the festival is also exciting because I get to see those friends now and stuff more often, and it's just like been a really great thing that's happened.
Yeah, and the other nice thing about like getting together with different artists and stuff like that is there's not really competition, because you're all kind of
Mhm.
working toward the same goal and
Yeah,
um
yeah.
providing different types of pieces for all kinds of different folks with different tastes and different interests. So
Yeah,
that's
and
really
learning,
cool. That's
yeah, and learning
exactly
from
right.
each other, and it's and having just like other friends, just having people to lean on, and
Yeah,
it's been really great.
that's really cool. So is your main medium like digital art, or because I see you have like this
Yeah.
giant people who are listening won't really be able to tell, but I can see
Okay.
behind your shoulder there's like this huge drawing pad, like a digital pad.
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
yeah.
like your main tool that you're using, or do you
Um,
dabble in any other kinds of mediums as well?
I primarily do graphic art on the computer. Early on, I mean, I had done through school and other times drawing and painting. Um, I was never as great at painting as I wanted to be.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
in digital art, the with the large tablet and stuff, I'm doing more of using the pen tool and stuff to do some digital painting and um, incorporating that technique into a lot of the work that I do for Wonderground and for Loungefly and stuff like that. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
This can be whether it's a higher job or a huge job or like just something small that you've had the opportunity to do even for yourself. Do you have a piece that you've done that particularly stands out to you as something that just feels quintessentially you, or something that you're really proud of or just extremely happy with the way that it turned out? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, do you have like a favorite piece that
favorite.
you've done? Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I mean, I have a few, but uh, I did finally get to do a Sorcerer Mickey piece for Festival of the Arts one year, and Sorcerer
Okay.
Mickey is like my all-time. I mean, you can see my shrine in
I,
the
I
my
literally
Sorcerer
had
Mickey shrine in the
I
background.
literally had a question about him because I've been noticing
Yeah.
how prominent Sorcerer Mickey is on your
Yes.
feed.
I
But yeah,
know, I know.
fair-
Yeah, so I mean, I, finally got to do it for Wonderground, and of course I was like feeling all this extra pressure personally because I was like,
mhm,
this is your favorite. This is like, not the one time, but your first time getting to put something out there
right.
official. So I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself for that one. But I do love how it came out. I think it was also one that I really was trying to start incorporating more of a scene into the visual instead of how I was working in some of the other previous pieces with the layouts and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So I was, just trying to like push myself a little bit on that one, and yeah, I'm just really happy with it.
That's really cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
your
thanks.
Sorcerer Mickey stuff is, I love it. I mean, it's really
Thank
cool. And
you.
he like
Thanks.
just the whimsy and sort of the narrative behind that particular character is a lot of
Right.
fun. And
Very
it's
layered.
funny how right. And it's funny how
Very layered.
it had such a small role in Fantasia, and yet it's just
Right.
completely recognizable, even just the hat or the silhouette, like everyone knows it. So
Yeah.
that's really, really cool. I love that. Is there anything like right now that you are? I mean, if you can't say, that's fine. I understand NDAs and
Yeah.
secrecy and stuff. But is there anything right now that you're working on that you're particularly excited about, or something that is like a new or fun project?
Yeah, there is. I can't talk about them,
That's
but
fine.
there is some new art coming, and of course, anything I'm working on for Loungefly, I won't see probably for like another year.
That's
But yeah,
crazy.
there's some fun stuff that I'm working on, but um, sadly, nothing I can talk about
I
in
kind of
detail.
I kind of knew that was sort of a fraught question, because for like
Yeah,
independent
it's
artists,
okay.
I can kind of ask and they can give me the whole spectrum of everything. But if you're actually hired by
Yeah,
people, I can understand the importance of tact. So
yeah,
that's total. I respect it. That's totally fine. Um, so obviously, your art is a big part of, well, it is the part of really why we wanted to sit down and talk to you and get some information and just basically get to know you and introduce
yeah.
you and your style to other people. So your time is great, and we really appreciate you hearing from you about this.
Oh,
One thing I did
sure.
want to quickly say before I move on to some other fun questions is that
Okay.
the piece that really caught my attention is your Hawaiian Holiday. It looks like it's kind of a newer piece.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, it's one of my
but
new ones for
oh my
this year.
gosh,
Yeah.
I mean, that one is just outstanding. And I hope that
Thank
it's
you.
gotten a lot of really positive attention, because it deserves it. It's such a great
Yeah.
piece.
Oh, thank
Similarly,
you. Appreciate
your
it.
Epcot Magic of Possibility piece, I've seen a lot of people on Instagram posting about buying it, I think from your
Yes,
stories
yeah.
and stuff. But yeah, the new stuff is killer. I mean, it's amazing. It's
Thank
really,
you.
really, really good.
Thanks. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I was definitely honored to have them have that as the festival poster for this year, which is crazy to me.
that's a
So
big deal. I mean, that's a
so
huge
it's
deal.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's cool. Okay, so obviously, a big part of our show is just talking about parks, and so it would kind of behoove
yeah.
me not to ask you, a couple of questions about, you know, the parks themselves. And this is all
Sure.
personal, right? So this
Okay.
isn't professional. These are all just like personal for fun.
Good. It's good.
Um, yeah, do you have a favorite Disney ride? I don't, it could be any park, anywhere. Is there one that's just like your favorite ride?
Um, I'm sure like many I have favorites at every park. Um, at Magic Kingdom, let's see. I always love Peter Pan's flight. I think there's just when you can get on it without waiting for too long.
I haven't been on in
There's just
so long
something
for that
like,
very reason.
I know, yeah, there's just, I think out of a lot of the rides that have been around for a long time, that one just like, I don't know, just still gives me goosebumps.
Yeah,
It
it's
just
great.
feels so classically Disney. So that's definitely one of my favorites when I can ride it,
Yeah,
when I can get on it.
that's how I feel about it. We were we were in Disney World with our daughter, who at the time was 10 months old, in October.
Oh yeah,
And like Paige and I looked at each other when we were in Fantasyland, and she was in her stroller, and we're like, we're not really gonna have too many more opportunities where we can skip this ride. So we're
yeah,
gonna skip it this time because the line is obscene and I just don't want to wait in it at all. It's a
yeah.
great ride,
It's
and I think it's a lot of fun, but the line is just always so. Uh,
so long.
yeah, I was trying to think of a better adjective to describe it, but long is just it's
Yeah,
that's the best way
I
to
know.
put
And I
it.
do
So,
I love the queue too. So whenever we can get in there,
mhm.
I still find like we're still discovering, different things because I haven't been inside there that much. And with
Yeah.
my daughter too, she's, just super excited about anything like that. So
So have you been? One of the things I didn't realize, because I haven't actually ridden Peter Pan's flight in Magic Kingdom before. I just assumed that the
Okay.
queue was the same as in Disneyland, which is to say a switchback line style where you just walk right up to the ride and you're on it. Have you been to the on the one in Disneyland before?
You know, I may have a long time ago.
It's
I haven't been to Disneyland that often. Um,
it's nothing to write home about. I mean, it's literally
okay.
like you can see the onboarding from when you're
Oh yeah,
walking
yeah,
down.
yeah. Yes, for
So
the key line.
so I had no idea that the line was actually very cool in Magic Kingdom, and so that's
It
kind of got me wanting
is.
to
Yeah.
actually go on it,
Yeah, it's very cool.
and experience that because I just assumed that it was like the rest of them, where you just sort of
Oh
saw
no,
it and there it
yeah.
was. But that's
Yeah,
really
no,
really
there's
cool.
some very cool, yeah, there's some cool things in there.
What is your? Do you have a favorite park out of all of the Disney parks?
Yeah, Magic Kingdom is still my favorite.
Okay,
And
that's fair.
especially after experiencing, things with our daughter and stuff
Yeah.
there, it certainly gives you this whole other view and
Hmm.
perspective on it there. And it's just, I think that's even like made it more my favorite than it was before, experiencing stuff with her and, doing things as a family there and stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah, by far my favorite.
it's crazy just how special it is to take your kid to Disney for the first time.
Oh yeah,
Even
yeah,
though our daughter is young and we took her at 10 months old, it
yeah.
was still really special because
Like you got
her
to get that
face.
Mickey picture and the castle
Oh my
picture
gosh,
and
we got so many of them. We had like dinner with the characters in at
yeah,
Tusker House and Animal Kingdom, like the whole thing. But yeah, going with kids is just a totally different thing.
it
Magic
is.
Kingdom is great. I personally am kind of like a weird Disneyland purist
Hmm.
over Magic Kingdom specifically,
That's okay.
but still the experience of taking your kid is really cool. So I can completely understand and see that answer for sure. That's cool.
Yeah, and
Um,
as oh, go ahead.
no, please.
I was gonna say, and as a local, we would go pretty often and wouldn't, have to push it. We could just go for a couple hours and then leave and stuff like that. So I think that's definitely enhanced the overall
Mhm.
experience, not feeling like we're, putting in a whole day every time that we get there and stuff.
Right.
So it's been nice.
Cool.
It's
So
been nice.
you're a local to like the Orlando area?
Yeah, we're pretty close to Magic Kingdom. We can see fireworks in the backyard and everything.
Nice.
It's yeah, magical. It's
That's
magical.
cool. That would probably send my dog to the grave with a heart attack. So I'm glad I don't live near anywhere that has fireworks. As cool as that would
Yeah,
be, I don't think they could emotionally
it's
handle
cool.
that.
Yeah.
All right. So the last question, kind of in regards to Disney stuff.
Okay.
What's your favorite Disney movie?
Oh man,
I
this
didn't
is a
ask you these
tough
ahead of
one.
time because I kind of want them to be a little bit on the spot,
I
but
know. I know. I mean, Sleeping Beauty is one of my all-time favorites. Obviously, I love Sorcerer Mickey, so Fantasia is in there, but
Mhm.
mostly the Sorcerer Mickey section. But
Right, right.
and Sleeping Beauty is just like I think one of the most beautiful films ever created. The artwork and art style is just amazing. Just every scene is
Right.
incredible.
I
Um,
agree.
yeah, and I think um, my first festival year, I was able to do a Sleeping Beauty piece, and just rediscovered film in a lot of other ways, diving deep into the art style and stuff. It was just it's still one of my favorites.
Um, one of the things that I've appreciated about talking to you, and also I kind of got this vibe from your art that's online,
Okay.
but it really does feel like you are like quintessentially classic Disney. With like the ride you like, the parks, the movies, the animation.
There's
I
a
love it. I
trend.
mean, no, it's great because
There's a trend.
a
Yeah.
lot of people they kind of will sort of move with the way that Disney goes. And I'm I'm a huge Star
Hmm.
Wars fan, so like when Galaxy's Edge opened up, I was elated.
Oh
And
yeah.
I love like uh, Pixar films and stuff like that, but there's something so special about the original, stuff that like Walt had
Yeah.
his hands in. Whether it's a ride
Yes,
or
definitely.
planning for a park or a film, so
Hmm.
I think that's really cool. You can definitely
Nice.
tell like the very classic influence in all of your art style, and I think that's just really special and just really nice. So
Thanks.
I wanted to kind of wrap this up by asking you. if there's anything, and I know we kind of talked about how long you're going to be at the festival, kind of toward like the 19th, I
Yep.
think you said was your last day, or the 20th.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you, like, is there anything that you want to promote? I mean, the floor is yours, so we're gonna link up all your social stuff and make sure everyone has
Okay.
access to find you. But if there's anything you want to promote, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, I mean that the festival is, the biggest thing going on for me right now. So definitely I'm most active on Instagram really. So JRatner81. And I'm posting all my, signing times and dates there because there are
Perfect.
specific times that will be out at the festival. But yeah, I'm there every weekend till my last day is the 19th. I think the festival ends the 20th. Um, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much like as of right now what's going on.
Cool. That works. Another
Yeah,
thing too that
awesome.
I'm gonna promote this on your behalf if that's cool. You seem
Yeah,
to post a
sure.
lot of like phone wallpapers and desktop wallpapers often.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if you
I
guys
do.
are into that, I would definitely follow for that reason alone. In fact, I think it was 2021, so I guess 2 years ago now, which is crazy.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
Maybe it was even before that, but you posted like these really cool Mickey and Minnie Halloween pictures, where they
Oh
have like these
yeah.
maroon colored hat and the witch's hat and stuff. And Paige actually had that as her wallpaper for a while.
Oh, awesome.
So I mean,
Yeah,
it's
for a brief moment in time in my Disney career, I was doing some stuff like that for the Disney Parks blog. So that's kind of where a lot of that stemmed
it's
from.
probably
And
where we
then
saw it, I'd
I do,
imagine.
yeah, and I reshare them every year because there's new people discovering stuff all the time. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, the Halloween one has been like year after year. I see a lot of people sharing it and stuff. So that's really exciting.
Well, Halloween art is definitely the way to go because it seems
Yeah,
like
it's
everyone's kind of like jumping
popular,
on the
very
Halloween
popular.
bandwagon more and more and more, which is
Yep.
great. It's a good holiday, but yeah, it's that's really
Yeah.
cool. All right, well, Jason, thank you seriously so much for joining us. I know,
Yeah.
like I said, you're very time constrained and have a lot going on with the festival, so the fact that you took time out of your day to be with us is really helpful. And appreciated. It's definitely really appreciated.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I was excited to come chat with you guys. Thank you.
yeah, we're super glad to have you. So I will be like I said, I'll be sure to be sharing all this for you, and we'll link up so people
Great.
can find your information and hopefully come see you at the festival.
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Take care.